Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a Colony Company first. This is our first top 10 video. Happy Halloween month, happy October. Me and the Colony Company, the rest of us thought it would be a great idea to compile 10 video games that we think would be a wonderful playthrough during this month. Get the nice spoopy atmosphere going. Either I've played this or some other members of the company have played these games, and they've all gotten the Colony Company seal of approval. And we're gonna go rapid fire here, but first I'd love to point out our fucking decorations. We went all out here, folks. You know, we think we have friggin' 50,000 subscribers, but I don't know. I love Halloween. I think it's worth it. I'd actually like to point out what I got the other day at a thrift store, at a vintage antique shop. This is a Union Pacific first aid kit. I thought it looked just like the ones from Fallout 4, so I picked that up. Fucking cool, dude. I'm going to put it on my wall, put it on the bathroom. Yeah, I walked in, I said to the woman, I'm going to take this right now, and then she called the cops. No, of course I paid for it. Anyway, let's get off to a start with this list here. Number 10, the bottom of our list here, is a game by the name of Contagion. It's been out for a while now. It is a source-based game, which I'm of course a bit biased against. Right, I love anything to do with source, and it's your typical Left 4 Dead formula. Right, you've got 3 game modes. You've got Hunted, you've got Extraction, and you've got Escape. I don't like Hunted very much, but basically Extraction is you're put in this map area. You have to go in and you have to secure and hold out and eventually extract survivors from the zombie apocalypse. And Escape is your typical formula of you're put in the map with your friends and you have to escape the level. And I don't know, it's got great level design, right? You've got spoopy lighting, you've got the spoopy audio, you've got flickering shit, broken glass, and fucking you add zombies in there and you add cooperative shit with your friends, and you've got a good little Halloween first-person shoot-'em-up game. I think it's $10. Let's bring up our Colony Company pricing here. Yeah, so Contagion is $10. I absolutely recommend it. Number 9 is a game by the name of Monstrum. It is a fucking scary, horrifying game. It takes place on an abandoned, paranormally active freight ship. And it's procedurally generated in regards that, some of the routes and the steps that you have to take to eventually get off or save yourself from this ship is different each time. It's relatively new. It's scary as hell. You've got 3 or 4, I can't remember, main antagonists which are out to get you, and they both have different traits. Some come through the vents. Some, I won't spoil too much, but it's absolutely horrifying. It's number 9 because it's just straight horror, right? You've got survival elements. You add that on top of permadeath, right, and brilliant AI. There's no place on this ship that is where you're safe. So I absolutely recommend Monstrum. It's on Steam, and it is on Steam for a simple $18. Right? You add ships, you're alone, you got shit hunting you, good AI. Fucking absolutely recommend it. Number 8 is Alfen.Isolation. It is a tried and true horror. Sci-fi, of course, in the Alien universe. It's fucking creepy. Oh, by the way, if you didn't know, this screenshot here was from Fallout 4's newest DLC, Nuka World. This is the new companion Gage. We're sitting having a drink in Doc Phosphate's saloon. It's really cool. Anyway, yes, it's in the Alien universe. Basically, you've got it incorporates stealth, and it incorporates your typical survival. Like Monstrum, you're on a ship, you're in space, and you've got that one single, very well-programmed AI piece of shit that's coming after you. I think the scariest thing about this game is you've got a motion tracker thing, and imagine you've got bright little tracker in front of you. You're trying to track this thing, and you've got a dark backdrop, and you see it. It's beeping, right? It's telling you got a fucker out there, but you can't see it. It's just scary. It's a bit low on the list because it's $40. And it's I don't think it's only for your really your tried and true Alien fans, because there's not really much to it, but it's creepy. Graphics are beautiful, audio design is beautiful. Highly recommend it if you're looking for a scare, but I don't know, it's not my cup of tea. Okay. Moving on to number 7 is a classic, Resident Evil 4. your typical sort of third person. I hate the game in regards of the clunkiness, it's awful, but it's got a cool inventory system. You can only pick up so many things. You have guns and stuff, so you have means to defend yourself, unlike some other horror games, which is just, their horror finds itself in the way that you can't, you're fucking, kill me, just end me. The games like that, I just want to click quit, because I'm not even going to bother. But Resident Evil, it's a well-known series. I don't need to tell you much about it. This one it takes place in, of course, a Spanish town. Revolves around, shoot 'em up regards, deranged villagers, and you would start to uncover the plot. Of course, is to go in and to save the president's daughter. You got cool boss fights, cool atmosphere, clunky, but it's a classic. Good horror game. Absolutely recommend. Of course, that is on Steam, and that is available for $20. Easy. Go ham, folks. Number 6 is System Shock 2. Scary fucking game. There's a recurring theme here in our list of being alone on a ship. Basically, System Shock 2 is where you've got this computer program that goes absolutely haywire and ends up, in a roundabout way, murdering everybody on this ship. And you've got parasites, and you've got means to defend yourself. You've got projectile weapons, you've got melee weapons, and of course it's your typical level-based thing. You go through, you get scared, but you prevail. It's difficult. It's one of those difficult games, but it's not too difficult in the way that it detracts from the experience. Because you and I, we all know those games that are, you really want to enjoy, but the difficulty just absolutely cuts the head right off. And but System Shock 2, of course, it's well known. I don't want to spoil too much, but basically it won 7 Game of the Year awards. Absolutely great game. Right now, Reeve Wheaton, and that is available for $10, so even better. We've reached the half point here now with The Forgotten Ones. It's a new game, and it's a Half-Life based game. And if you guys know of the game, you'd be like, Dylan, why the fuck is this so high on your list? I say it's because, it's glitchy. It's glitchy gameplay. But it's for free. First of all, it's for free. And but it is your typical scary Halloween-esque mansion game. It's a shoot 'em up. It's a first person. Basically, it takes place after the Holocaust, and in a sort of rural mansion setting. You basically go back and puzzles here and there, but it's the atmosphere that gets you. It is that creepy, well maintained, but scary and unsettling mansion type shit. And you go back and you sort of uncover the past of I think your father. Highly recommend it. It's free. Like I said, it's not the best game in the world, but it's the atmosphere. I explain it like what was it, DayZ standalone? Is it DayZ? Yeah, DayZ standalone, where absolutely frustrating. You got single-digit frames, but just sort of the response that you get from playing that game, sort of the atmosphere and exploration. Give it a shot. This is mainly my entry here, The Forgotten Ones. I'll put a link in there, but yeah. Give it a little shot. Number 4 is Until Dawn. It is a PlayStation exclusive, which normally I'm not a big fan of, but it's a pro for me because of how engaging it is. It's one of those sort of story-focused games, right? It's less gameplay as it is, skill checks and what they call the butterfly effects. So throughout this gameplay, you're not just meant to play it once. You're meant to play it over and over again. And decisions you make early on influence decisions further on in the game. I think you've got 7 characters. It takes place at night, of course, until dawn. You're in a snowy forested area, and it's snowing, it's nighttime, and it's fucking scary. It's great. One of my favorite channels right now, BroPoeSouls, are doing a playthrough right now. And I'll link you if you want to find some gameplay and some commentary of it. Absolutely love those guys, yeah, they're sort of the ones who got that on the list actually. So go check out BroPoeSouls and their playthrough of Until Dawn. Like I say, it's PlayStation exclusive. If you don't have a PlayStation, don't worry about it. But until Halloween comes up, it's fun to sit down and to go through, to survive the night, if you will. Plays like a movie. Not everybody's cup of tea, but spooky atmosphere, story, spooky spoopy exploration, go for it. Number 3 is the flagship of the Colony Company in terms of gameplay, is Killing Floor. Not Killing Floor 2, but the first Killing Floor. It is this massive game where, of course, co-op, and you go fucking crazy, dude. Zombies, wave-based, but the joy in Killing Floor is the maps, right? You get maps that are created by Tripwire, who's the people who created the game. Or you've got just an absolute archive of maps that are made by people like me, you know, just people made by regular players who, you know, get the spooky Halloween jack-o'-lantern feel, and I don't know, just the idea that you're exploring these maps, you're against the zombies, much like Contagion, and it's just so well made, and it runs like a well-oiled machine, and it's I highly recommend it. It is $20. I think everybody with Steam should have it. It's one of those, you know, it doesn't matter what mood you're in, doesn't matter what you're doing, you can play the fucking game any day. And it's best played with friends over things like TeamSpeak, but if you just want to join a game, it's still well alive. 2009. So, like I said, that's for $20. Until Dawn is... I actually don't have the price for Until Dawn because it's a PS4, but yeah, Killing Floor, $20. Absolutely recommend it. Pick it up. Number 2 is The Evil Within. Now, this was a controversial game, especially when it came out. It was published by Bethesda, of course, one of my favorite game companies / publishers. The story is lackluster. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, so if you were to compare The Evil Within with Until Dawn has its strengths in the story, and not so much in gameplay because there's not much of it. Where The Evil Within has its perks, has its the best parts of it is level design and gameplay. The story is lackluster. It wouldn't be on this list at all if it was still the price that it was when it came out. But right now it's $20. And it's mainly for the experience. It's for the design and the models of the horrifying creatures that you're against, and the maps, and basically all of that stuff. I think it got a lot of flack because of who published it. You know, you could have 2 equal games of equal, you know, competencies, you know, but if one was like done by a well-known publisher, people would shit all over it compared to one that's, you know, made by a publisher that's maybe it's their first game. So I think that has a lot to do with why The Evil Within didn't do very well. But I recommend it because it's beautiful. Story, like I say, lackluster. But you've got some really freaky models. You've got some really freaky maps, some really freaky areas that you trudge through, and you really get the idea that it's you against some really evil. Like I said, won't spoil too much, but absolutely recommend The Evil Within. Maybe it shouldn't be number 2. Maybe it shouldn't be. Like I said, these aren't. It's not absolutely. It's not like an elitist list, right? These are games that I feel, really capture the essence of Halloween. And with that, folks, we move on to number 1. This one gets overlooked because of a game called Amnesia: The Dark Descent. But number 1 is Penumbra Overture. It is your absolutely typical, horrifying, you against the evils of this fucking... I don't know. How I said that I like games that you can arm yourself against the evils. Penumbra does it well, where you cannot. You're limited to how you can... you're limited to how you can defend yourself. It blends adventure, it blends psychological horror, it blends sort of exploration and survival horror. I think it's highly dependent on what type of gamer you are, right? I am not normally one who likes sort of puzzle shit. Like I don't really like the Portal series, right? Call me crazy. But this game, it forces you to read scattered notes and shit and solve puzzles. So if that's not your cup of tea, then maybe it's not for you. The main gist is it's one of those games that creates memories. You know what I mean? It's spooky. You get your heart pumping, but not with silly jump scares, right? It's a very well made game. It's the baseline, I think, in terms of comparison in horror games. And best of all, it's for $10. It's on Steam. It's a simple playthrough. As soon as you start it up, your heart beats 10, 20 beats per second faster. So absolutely recommend that. And I think that's a tried and true number one. I don't think people would disagree with me there. For some honorable mentions, we have Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Mainly because Halloween and horror shit, you gotta have yourself an old castle in there. So you add that to some horrifying nasty shit, and put Nazis there, and some guns to hold, and you've got yourself a good fucking time. Another honorable mention is the Fallout New Vegas DLC, Dead Money. As soon as you think of Fallout New Vegas, you say, how can that fucking goofy engine give any sort of memorable horror type experience? And I say it's a combination of a few things. The NPCs and the enemies you run into in this DLC is unlike anything you've ever ran into in the base game. Right? You have to sort of change your play style, and it's a good implementation of some puzzle elements too. You have some noxious gases in there that you have to sort of maneuver against, and add that to the explorative element of you've got yourself a casino that's been untouched since opening night before the war. And of course it's post-apocalyptic set now, and you have to go on there and explore some shit. It's really good. And our last honorable mention here is Amnesia Dark Descent, of course, like Penumbra. If you've played one of them but not the other, you're certain to like it. I just can't, if it's a top 10 game for Halloween here, it's got to be at least an honorable mention, because it's actually what a lot of people think of. So that's it. That's our top 10 and 3 honorable mentions from the Colony Company. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry, it's a bit of a vlog, and I know it's not really what we do here, but I need an excuse to buy some fucking decorations. Buy some decorations, and I hoped you enjoyed it. Yeah, folks. Like I say, I love video games, and I love sort of atmospheric compliments in terms of the seasons and how they sort of play with each other. It's a big reason why I did the Fallout New Vegas Christmas special. Because I love Fallout and I love Christmas. So let's put those two together. So if it's Halloween, you got jack-o'-lanterns outside. The weather's getting a bit cold. You got yourself a cup of tea, and you're on TeamSpeak, you're on Steam, you're with your friends, and you're going through a game like Contagion, killing zombies and trying to survive. I think it's a fun time. I really do. I'm just thinking of it now, and 7 Days to Die is a good game. Absolutely, but I think it's such a different, long, protracted game style, and maybe it shouldn't be on here. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful Halloween. Take care, and see you guys later. Bye.